Political analyst Tshepo Kgadima joins us in studio. Tshepo, you are a guest that always gives me very good answers on the show. So I want to ask you, the ANC have been struggling with factionalism. And we know that it has had a very negative effect in the public eye and also within the party. So what do you think, what's your opinion on this? Just tell me a bit on their factionalism and how they've been struggling.
Look, factionalism, in my opinion, that we are currently seeing there within the African National Congress, for me it's a direct result that the ANC is now stuck in the politics of personalities more than the politics of ideology and principle. So there isn't that single unifying ideal that every leader and every member of the African National Congress, including the voters, have actually been rallied behind. And hence now you see that factionalism that is very rife, they admit that themselves as the African National Congress, is directly related where they're dealing now with personalities. And they talk about positions who would be more ideal in terms of a person, the name for a position, than actually what is required to be able to move forward. What is that ideal that need to be pursued for the ANC to remain a strong and the hope of not just South Africa but of the whole continent?
And why is it important for them not to engage in divisive public commentary?
Well, first and foremost, because of the history of the African National Congress being the oldest liberation movement in the continent, and more so in terms of it being now the longest ruling party in South Africa, it is important that it can continue in that path. My own assessment is that in South Africa, we need stable politics for at least 20 more years, whereby we can concentrate on the key issues. We can develop really what it means. This constitutional democratic state, it's still very much in the infancy stage, it's in the nascent stage, and therefore we cannot afford to have politics of instability, and more so it is in the interest of South Africa that the ANC should actually remain strong. It should be very much united, so that at the end of the day a better life for all can be achieved. And I think it is indictment on those that are involved in factional politics, that because they are dragging everybody else down in the country. But on the other hand, I mean, I've just observed the agenda item that they have for this National Executive Committee meeting. The report, for example, from the branches, I mean, for me, that it shocks me. And taking from the words of one of the National Executive Committee members, is that the ANC right now is like that bird that is hypnotized by a snake and maybe, let's say, you know, a python. So the bird forgets that it can fly. It's so hypnotized. And I see the ANC in that state whereby it is so hypnotized to a state of paralysis by the loss of the local government election, where in key metros they were not able to win, but there is no outright winner. And that shock has put them in a stage whereby they keep looking back instead of looking into the future. So one can only hope that going into this National Executive Committee meeting, as much as they will be considering the report back from the branches, which they have engaged, but that actually the leadership now can start to cast a vision going forward and to say, what is it that they are going to do? And one of the things that I think that they should be resisting, whether they listen or not, I mean, is another issue, but is to, again, continue talking about an individual. And in this case, you know, they use the terms like elephant in the room. He says, what is that? What does that actually mean? And that, well, maybe if we get rid of leader A or leader B, therefore it will be the end of all our troubles. And I'm saying that is a great mistake, and is one of the things that it starts to question that, well, this leadership, are they fully aware? Are they in tune with really the challenges that they are facing, not just themselves as a party, but that we are facing as a country? And going forward, do they have the ability, do they have the full appreciation of what needs to be done, and do they have a plan that they can be able to execute? So I think to continue looking backward to what happened in the local government election, that happened. Everything else that they are talking about now, they should have spoken and identified that before the local government elections happened. So that's one of the things that we will see on Sunday, when they come out, that will they be reporting on this? One of the things that I also find that, again, they're still in that state of hypnosis. They keep talking about various individuals. I cannot see how the name of Claudia Mutwening will not be central state. But when they do that and they talk about the rule of law, for me personally, I think some of the things that the ANC should be addressing in this National Executive Committee meeting is, for example, the untenable, unfortunate, and clearly disgraceful comment that has been attributed to retired Justice Zek Yaqub. Because clearly what he has done, his utterances are unbecoming and untenable for a judge and for a constitutional court judge for that matter. Clearly that is something that they need to articulate. The other issue that I think that they need to really pronounce themselves on, purely because of the state we are in, yesterday the judge president of the North Gauteng High Court made a very unfortunate confession, but nobody has said anything, that he admitted what we've always suspected, that even among themselves as the justices, as the judiciary, there are elements of corruption. And in fact, the judge president only went as far as that he has given advice and caution to his fellow justices, whereby he hasn't really taken the nation into confidence further as to what has he done in those elements where it came to his knowledge that there's corruption. And I think that these are the things that the ANC should be dealing with in this election. But they need to move away from this stage of paralysis and where they keep looking back, but really cast a vision for the future that we can all be able to have confidence in.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having Tshepo Kgadima, our political analyst, in the studio.